Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Laratips. In today's video, we'll be making about us information here. We'll be saving this image and this information about the about us section, and we'll be using a text editor named as Ckeditor to save this data so that we could save HTML there. So now if we go here in the settings/create page, so we have this update hero data from our previous video. Now we want to add update about us data. So if we go here inside this profile, so that Jetstream provide to us by default, so there is this Jetstream border which will add a border between any two sections. So let us use that and let us import that as well. And let's use it here in the components. Okay, so it's there. Also for the update about data, let us create another component. So for now, let us just copy this update hero data, and now let me rename it. So here we'll say about us information, update the about us data. So we'll need image, so we can make use of this image component, and we'll say here about image instead of hero image. And let's say here about description for now. Also we'll be changing this text area to a Ckeditor from which we can add HTML. So we have changed here about image and about description. So let us change that here in the form as well. So here, and let us also call here about, and for the route let us create a new route for that. Okay, so let's save hero, then save about here. Okay, now we have to create this in our backend as well in the route web.php. Also here in this section, let's say about image URL, and here let us change it to about image, and here about description. And let us use this component inside this settings create here. So let me just copy this for now here, and let me paste it and update about data, and let me duplicate it and paste it here like this. So we have imported that. So I have also run here npm run watch here in the background. So if I go here in the browser and let me refresh the page, let's see what we are getting here. Okay, you can see here this is the border that is coming from this jet section border, and all these other informations that we are getting from inside this update about data. So you can see here I'm not getting any image here, any other things like that. So for that we have to create it in our controllers and models. So let's fix this. So for that, let us go to our resource here. You can see here we have only passed here hero description and hero image URL, so only they are available here. Now we have to pass description, about image, and about description. So let me duplicate this here, and let me say here about, and here also let me say about. So these methods are not defined in the settings model, so let us go there and define this. So let me copy this first, and let me go to settings model here. So here we have hero description and hero image URL. So for that, let me just copy it for now. So if there is any duplicate code, then we'll refactor it. So here is the hero, and instead of hero we want is about. So about image, about description, this will be in our JSON field. So we have used here about description and about image. Okay, so currently if you see here that this code and this code is kind of duplicate. So for that, let us create another function, image URL. So we'll use this same method, and we'll call this method from both the above methods, and it will also return string or null. And here we have to pass the column name. So in this case the different is about image, and in this case the hero image, which is a column name, which is inside the data column as a JSON key. Yeah, so we have to pass this. So let's say that is string column, and now we'll just use this here, and instead of about image we'll say column, and here we'll just copy this and return this data from here. And instead of about image we'll just say here column, and here we have to do here double inverted comma, otherwise this syntax will not work here. Okay, we have done this. Now from here we can just say here return this image URL, and we have to just pass this about image here. And also here also let us copy this, and from here also we can simply pass return this image URL, and we have to pass this column name. Okay, we have done that. So we have also defined this about description here. Okay, we have done this. Now let us see this in the browser. Let's see whether this will be visible here again. And now you can see here this AB image, which is coming from about, yeah, that about image that we have passed. So it is coming here AB, and we don't have saved any data, so it is, all those things are empty. So now let us try to save the data. So for that we have defined here the route name is settings.saveabout. Yeah, so let's go to web.php under the routes, and let us just duplicate it, and instead of save hero we'll say about, and instead of here save hero about. Yeah, and we don't have this method here. Let us go to the settings controller, and we have here save hero. Yeah, let us duplicate this method, and again if there is any duplicate code we'll refactor that. So let us say save about here. Yeah, we have to validate, so there are hero and description. Let's say about. Okay, let us create a request for this. Let us not use the request in the controller. So for that we can do is php artisan make request, and let's say save about request. Okay, now let me open that as well. So it's under app http requests, and inside here save about request. Yeah, and let us return true from here. We don't want to unauthorized anybody. Yeah, we just want to validate. So for that let us just copy this and paste it over here, and let me remove this, and let me type hint that here the class name is save about request. So I'll write about request, so it will automatically validate that request data using this information over here. So about us description is required, and about us image is nullable or image. So we have done that here. Instead of hero let us just convert this into about. Okay, now in here while saving, so we are doing here again the merge data and merging the same data from here into this our total, all the data that comes from the settings that are currently saved in the database. So we are doing the same thing here as well. So let us extract that into another method. Let's say save. So let us make it a private method, and let us pass array as data, and it will not return anything for now. Okay, let us say void. So let us copy this information from here, and let us pass it here. And this merge data is only being used once, so we don't need to assign it to a variable. Let me just paste it over here like this. So here we are assigning the setting data to here, and we are saving it. Now we can simply call it from here. So this save, and we can say data from here. Yeah, so we have just refactored this code into this one, so we haven't done any other thing. Now we can do the same thing here as well. So we'll just do this, and it will work the same way. So we have done this. So we have saved the assigned about us description from that we are getting from the about description. If we look at here in the update about data here, yeah, we are getting this from here, about description and about image. So about description and about image, and we are saving this. So this is the same file that we have made in our previous video and that we used to save the image, and we have assigned it to the name to the about image and saved the data, and we have redirect it to the back. And here you can see here reset on success is false. So whenever we submit the form, it will not reset, so the data will be again present there. And whenever we submit this, so this form.post, this submit to this route, so you can also see here preserve scroll equals to true. This means that whenever we click on this save, it will not go back to the top, this scroll bar. Okay, so by default whenever we save, the page reloads and the scroll bar will go to the top. But in case of Inertia, the page will not reload, but it will mimic as the page has been reloaded, and it will take this scroll bar or this page to the top again. Yeah, so we don't want that. So whenever we click on save, we want this page to stay in the same position. Okay, so because of that, we are giving here preserve scroll equals to true. By default, the preserve scroll will be false. So we have done this. Yeah, and in the controller also we have done all these things. Now let me go to this browser, let me refresh the page, and now let me add some image here. So let me add this image for now, and when I click on open, so it is selected, and let me say, so let me copy the same thing from here for now. Okay, currently we are only using Textarea, but we will use Ckeditor, and let me add it here. Now let me also open the console, and here in the network tab, let me click on save. So you can see here it is saved here, yeah, and it is redirect us to the same page, and the image is also here. Now if I again refresh here, the data is persisted, so it is saved to the database. So if we look here in the database and I refresh the page here, now you can see here all the information. If I hover here, so you can see in that black box all the informations are there, and the data are also persisted here. Now so if we do it like this, then we cannot add any HTML there. Yeah, so because of that, we want to make this a kind of text editor where we can add HTML by ourselves, so that let's say an admin can change the color of the text, yeah, and anything that he or she want to do, and make things bold or not here. So for that we want to add some editor. So for that we have this Ckeditor, and if I go on this link, so you can see here I can install the Ckeditor by using this command. Now if I go here and let me stop the server from here and let me install the package. Okay, the package is installed. Now let us again go back to the browser and let's see how to use this. So we can see here we can import it like this. So let me copy this and let me go to the app.js inside this resources.js here, and I can say here import Ckeditor from Ckeditor. So after that, let's see here, and we can use it like this. So use view.use Ckeditor and we can add it here. And now let's see how to use that, and we can use it like this here. So let me just copy it for now, and let me go to the update about data here, and we want to use it here. Yeah, so we have this editor data, so let me replace it with this our form.about description, and we also have this editor and editor config. Yeah, so let me just remove this app text area from here, as well as let me remove it from here and here. And if I go here and see that we have here this import classic editor here, yeah, so let us use that here, and I can say here import classic editor. Then So here we have editor data and editor config. Yeah, so let us use those as well. So editor here, and in the data we can say here editor is classic editor, and then again here editor data config. We can just paste it the same thing here. So for now we can add all the configuration settings that Ckeditor has in this portion. Okay, so let's see what is visible now after doing this. So before that, let me run our server. So this nrw is alias for npm run watch. Now let's go to the browser and see here inside the Laravel, and let me refresh the page here. Okay, now you can see here it's in the Ckeditor. Now let's say we want to make this thing bold, yeah, and I can just select it and just select it like this, and you can see here it is bold, and all this thing will reflect here whenever we make this thing dynamic. Okay, and let me add some other information here. So let me copy that from here and let me add it to here, and when I click on save, it is saved. And let me refresh the page now, and you can see here all the data is persisted. So we can not only make the things bold, but also we can add some bullet points and numbers, yeah, and we can make the table as well. So this kind of things can be done using the Ckeditor. And also wherever we want to use this Ckeditor, then we have to again write this editor, classic editor, and yeah, import all these things in every other places where we want to use that. So let us make it into a component. So let us go to our usual components folder here, and let's say here Ckeditor.view. So you can give any name here, yeah. So let me give the Ckeditor. So I have given the name as Ckeditor, and let's say view component here, and for that we have to just copy and paste the things and add vmodal support for it. So for now, let us just copy this from here and paste it here. So after that, so let me copy this. So let me cut it from here, and here let me import it, and this information will go here inside the data. Now we don't need this as well, and now let us import that component. So let's say app Ckeditor here, and let us use it here as well, and also let us use that here. So now we don't need to pass this information. Okay, so we have defined this inside, yeah, so we don't need to pass, so we only need to pass this vmodal. So let us add the vmodal support for it. So whenever we want the vmodal support inside the props, we want value. So this value will contain whatever thing is passed initially from here. So currently the about us contains this, yeah. Whenever we load the page, it will contain this, and this thing will be passed to this inside Ckeditor component as a value from here. And whenever we type something, then we want to change it inside here, yeah, and we cannot modify a prop. So for that, let us create another data which will be text. Okay, so here we'll write text, and whenever this component is mounted, we'll assign this value to the text. So whenever something is passed from here, we'll assign it to the text, because in the vmodal we have used text here. So in the mounted, we'll say this dot text is equals to this dot value. So whenever something is mounted, we are assigning it to a text. So now in the watcher, whenever the value changes, so whenever we type something, so first of all it will change in this about description, yeah. So whenever that changes, this value will also change. So in that case also we need to assign this value to the text. Now we can say here whenever value changes, we can say here value and this dot text equals to value. Okay, now that's done. Now whenever we type something, the text will change because this v modal is assigned to the text. This prop will not change. Okay, this text will change. So whenever text is changed, we want to emit an event. So text here, and this dot, and to add a v modal support we have to emit input event. Yeah, so this emit input whatever the value is here. So whatever we have typed here, we want to emit it as an input event. So whenever we emit it as an input event, we will get the support for the v modal, and this data will be automatically updated by whatever we have written in this text field inside this Ckeditor. So you can see here in the value, this dot text equals to value and this dot text equals to value, these things are repeated here. So instead of this, we can do one more thing. So I'll show you that trick. Instead of method, we can call it as object here. Yeah, and we can say handler here. Okay, so here we can call it value, and we can do it like this. So we have just replaced the same code from this to this. Now to add this support, we can just simply say here immediate true. So whenever we say immediate true, this method will immediately be called when this component is mounted, and it will also be called whenever this value changes. So we don't need to use that mounted property now. Okay, so let me also remove all these unused methods. So we have already used this here. Yeah, so now let's go to the browser. So let me refresh the page here. So now let's see what happens here. So you can see here everything is same here. Yeah, so now if I go here in the view, so this is the view dev tools, and inside here, and let me click on the create. Inside it, let us go to this update about data here, and inside the jet section we have this app Ckeditor. Yeah, so you can see here all the data is here. And now if I, let's say, select all and remove it, now you can see here it is also removed, and in the event you can see here it is, these things are being emitted by the Ckeditor package component that we have installed, and this input event is emitted by our package here. And whenever it emits the input event, this reflects the changes over here, and when I add it here, so you can see here again it is emitting this all the data that we have entered. And if I go here in the components, and we can see that here in the value and this text. Yeah, and when I go here in the update about data, and inside the form also, we'll see those changes because of the v modal support. So we have seen this, and for now let me just remove this. Okay, and let me hit save here. So it is saved. Yeah, and let me refresh the page now, and you can see here the data is also persisted, so which means that we have successfully changed this Ckeditor into our own component here. So that's it for this video, guys. So this video is going to be a very long video. So in the next video, we'll be saving the information for this contact us detail page like address, phone, email, this URL, yeah, map URL. So all those kind of things we'll be doing in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.